So the Pentagon tells Congress the first week of the war on Iran cost over $11 billion US. And with that $11 billion, they replaced Ayatollah Khamenei with Ayatollah Khamenei. And they tell American people building high-speed rail is expensive.
We are not at war, motherfucker. Who the fuck is we? Every time some shit pop off, y'all say we are at war. Who the fuck is we? The only thing we are at war with is these high-ass bills, these bullshit jobs, Uncle Sam taxing our ass every time we get paid like a motherfucker, and our own mental health as we try to process this shit. Talking about some we. Who the fuck is we?
The Iranian war has only been going on for 10 days and baby, it's cost Americans $10 billion. $10 billion fucking dollars. We got $10 billion for a war we started, but we don't have shit for Medicaid, farmers, education, student loan, first-time home buyer, the cost reduction on food, no fucking tariff, just a few fucking things to name.
The smart thing for the United States to do is to accept failure and back off sooner.
I mean, what are Iran's demands and requirements to put an end to the war now that it's already ongoing?
The United States has to be punished, and Iran is not going to accept some ceasefire. That's not happening. The Iranians have to reach a stage where they feel that in future, the security of this region will not be threatened by the United States. And so the Iranians are prepared for very long. So Iran is more than prepared to continue this war for a very, very long time. And it will make sure that the United States regrets this war. The smart thing for the United States to do is to accept failure and back off sooner. But if it does not, it will have to accept failure at a much higher cost.
You're spending $1 billion a day in Iran. $1 billion a day on a war that Trump started without asking any of us, without asking fucking Congress. $1 billion a day on a war that he started on behalf of another country. Another country which, by the way, provides universal health care to all of its citizens, which we apparently can't afford to do, but we can afford to spend $1 billion a day on a war that we are losing. Iran has already taken out some of the most expensive and integral military facilities that the United States has ever built. And it's been barely a week of trillions of dollars up in smoke, trillions of dollars of your money that you earned at your job and gave to a government that decides to start wars without any plan at all, without anything except for radical nonsense being spouted into their ears about a fucking Christian apocalypse story. What the fuck are we doing?
And then naturally Americans are furious about it, right? Because we're like, how the fuck does this benefit me? I can't afford to pay for college. I can't buy a home. I can't pay for health insurance. And we're going to spend billions of dollars on a war in a country I can't even point out on a map. Mm-hmm. How is this beneficial to me?
Yeah. That's how they feel already.
Yeah, as they should.
I knew oil prices would go up if I did this, and they've gone up probably less than I thought they'd go up. But I don't think anybody thought we were going to be this quickly successful. This was a military success, the likes of which people haven't seen. We have the best military. We have the best equipment.
I don't know why we're doing it.
If President Trump says he has a plan, he has a plan.
The U.S. strike on Iran wasn't necessary.
I don't think we understand why we're there. No one has answered any questions.
I don't have all the information, so it's hard for me to make a determination whether it's in the interest of the United States or not.
I do look into it, and I just get really sad about all the losses of life.
Well, I totally appreciate our president because he's taking out the #1 state-sponsored group in the world.
I'm anticipating the prices of everything going up and my income staying the same.
It has affected oil production, and the gas prices have certainly gone up. I went from paying $3.36 a gallon to over $4 now in a matter of a week or two.
I'm from Texas, so it's oil country. And so we put up with this bump in the price because I think it's going to drop back down.
Family, across social media, political commentary shows, and even economic analysis platforms, experts, and even analysts are starting to break down the numbers behind the escalating conflict with Iran, and what they reveal is deeply unsettling for many Americans. And so, according to defense analysts family, modern warfare is it's really extraordinarily expensive. Within just the early stages of this conflict family, billions of dollars have already been allocated towards military operations, troop mobilization, and even weapons systems, surveillance, technology, and even logistical support across multiple bases in the region. A war, especially involving advanced military powers, is just not fought with soldiers, it's fought with massive financial resources. But as these numbers circulate online, family, a different conversation is gaining momentum among ordinary Americans. Many people are asking a question that has echoed throughout US history during major conflicts. If the government can find billions for war so quickly, why is it difficult to fund healthcare for its own citizens? And so for years, family, millions of Americans have struggled with raising medical costs. Even basic hospital visits can leave families with thousands of dollars in debts. Prescription medications remain extremely expensive, and many people rely on complicated insurance systems just to receive basic cares. Not basic cares, but basic care. In fact, healthcare affordability has been one of the most debated political issues in the United States for decades. Now, with the billions suddenly being mobilized for military operations overseas, critics say that the contrast is becoming impossible to ignore. Economics and even policy experts are pointing out that military spending has historically consumed a significant portion of the U.S. federal budget. Supporters argue that national defense is essentially for security and global stability, but critics say that the same level of urgency is rarely applied when it comes to healthcare reform, education funding, infrastructure improvements, or even support for struggling communities. And this is where the public frustration begins to intensify, family. Many Americans are not necessarily debating whether national defense matters. Instead, they are questioning the balance of priorities. They are asking why emergency funding can appear overnight for war, while social programs often face years of political gridlock and budget debates. And even on online forums and discussions platforms, veterans, healthcare workers, economists, and even everyday citizens are sharing their perspectives. Some veterans are expressing concern about the long-term consequences of another prolonged conflict in the Middle East. Healthcare professionals are highlighting the ongoing challenges hospitals face with staffing shortages, rising patient costs, and even overwhelmed medical systems. And for many Americans, family, the conversation has become deeply personal. Some families are still paying off medical bills from surgeries or even emergency treatments. Others worry about losing insurance coverage if they change jobs. Meanwhile, headlines discussing billions in military spending create a sense of frustration that resonates across political lines. And so political analysts say this type of public reaction is not new. Throughout history, major wars have often triggered intense debates about government spending priorities. From the Veteran War to the Iraq War, Americans have repeatedly questioned how resources are allocated during times of conflict. What makes the current moment particularly powerful is the role of social media. Unlike past generations, family, today's citizens have immediate access to economic data, expert commentary, and even real-time analysis. And as a result, family, the public conversation is unfolding much faster and reaching millions of people within hours. Some analysts believe this growing awareness could influence future political debates about federal spending and domestic policy. Others argue that national security decisions are complex and cannot always be compared directly to domestic programs. But regardless of political perspective, family, one thing is becoming clear. The financial realities of war are forcing Americans to confront difficult questions about national priorities. And as this conflict continues to develop, family, those questions are likely to grow even louder, because for many Americans watching this situation unfold, the issue is no longer just about geopolitics. It's about the everyday reality of healthcare bills, rising costs of living, and even whether government spending truly reflects the needs of its own people.